I kind of wanted to open this podcast club channel mid-episode, and then I realized I didn't actually write anything up or find a picture. Okay, let's start officially now that I threw up some random posts in events board and club assign.
All right, sounds good.
I have to make a correction from last episode because I promised I would.
All right.
When I got a speeding ticket and got pulled over, I forgot who was in the back seat of my car to help me out. And
Okay.
Nick was back there. He got mad at me for forgetting.
Nick was in your car during the speeding ticket encounter.
Yeah, he got mad that I forgot about him.
Well, it didn't sound like he did much to the story because it sounds like Austin was the only one helping you. So
That's the only reason I remembered Austin and no one else.
Yep. Well, there it is. Nick was in the car. Fantastic.
Moy's asking, where's our cute intro and backdrop? That's gonna happen in the YouTube video.
That happens in post.
That happens in post, exactly. Alright, dude. I have to tell you a crazy story about this last week.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, my car is buried in snow outside. So you don't get any snow in Phoenix, do you?
One time, 2 years ago, it actually did snow. There was none on the ground because it melted, but it was snowing out of the sky. I actually remember because I looked outside, and I remember vividly thinking that's the weirdest looking rain I've ever seen. That's how inexperienced I am with snow. And then we went outside and it was like, oh my god, it's actually snowing here in Phoenix. That's insane. But yeah, it didn't stay on the ground because it melted immediately.
I see. Well, have you only ever lived in Phoenix? Don't you have family in Colorado?
I've got family in Northern California, but it wasn't it wasn't snowing there the last time I went, or any of the times I've gone. I've never gone when it snows up there. I mean, I've been in the snow. I go snowboarding, so like it's not like I have experienced the snow.
All right. The Northwest right now is going through something that everybody is calling Snowmageddon or the Snowpocalypse. Some people
Okay.
are calling it Snow My God.
I think I like that one the most.
Last Sunday, it kind of like suddenly snowed about 5 or 6 inches, and school closed down for Monday and Tuesday, and a lot of people called out of work and stuff. It was pretty wild. And then it melted throughout Wednesday and Thursday until weather forecasters are saying that Friday evening it's going to be snowing a lot. And I had class Friday morning, and school was closing at noon when the snow was going to start. And I got a text from my boss saying every single person who was closing with me called out. So I was the only person closing. And then my other boss texted me saying, hey, do you want like a fat check? Can you come in as early as possible and stay as late as possible? So yesterday I worked a 10-hour shift. And I was down one closer. The only people who closed with me were my 2 bosses and another
Damn.
coworker who stayed for 11 hours. And it was pretty wild, actually. My car was completely buried.
Man, that's crazy. How much of a fat paycheck are you gonna get?
I was only supposed to work 6 hours, so I worked 4 hours more, and 2 of it was overtime pay.
So that's like what, time and a half for 4 hours?
No, time and a half were only 2 hours because
Dang,
I was only a 6-hour shift.
that's good.
I don't know, man. It was fucking wild. Oh, and like every single grocery store was completely packed with people because everybody thinks they're going to be staying in their house for like 2 weeks straight, apparently.
I did actually see a picture on Reddit about that of someone was posting, and I think it was Seattle's subreddit or whatever, which is so weird. I don't get why there's subreddits for cities because I don't care about anyone in my city, but whatever. And they posted a picture of like, I think it was like a Walmart or something, and there were probably, I mean, I don't even know, 100 people in line for the self-checkout. Then they were saying that it took them an hour to wait in line to do self-checkout.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So you know how in Costco, you show them the membership card when you walk in, and then they tally up like how many people are in the store.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. I just thought it was just like a cool kids club where it's like, oh, some bouncer like kicking people out for not being cool enough to own a Costco membership.
I mean, kind of, but we just keep track of how many people are in the store, so we know how many lines to open, so everything's all like efficient and shit.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's like actually really cool.
So a typical Friday. Friday's usually pretty busy because it's like the start of the weekend. Um, After opening, we open at 10. It's like 200, 250 people who come into the store in like that first hour or so. Yesterday was so freaking crazy that 30 minutes after we opened, they had over 1,000 people in the store. That's like 4 times, almost 5 times as many people.
Oh my god.
And every single line, like every single register was open and capped.
That's crazy.
People were lining up halfway down the warehouse, and it's a big fucking warehouse.
That's so many people.
And it was so lined up that managers and people were passing out cookies to everybody in line because they were waiting for so long.
That's actually crazy. Did you like run out of any like I'm assuming people are buying water and like, you know, stuffed goods. Is that what you're like running out of and stuff? Like, did you have any issues with that? I mean, I feel like Costco kind of has this, you know, unlimited supply of goods, but 1,000 people all coming in unexpectedly is a bit much.
It did die around like 4 p.m., so I was kind of bored later in the evening, but because I was already there for so long, I was pretty exhausted. But I work in the food court, and our food court's kind of outside, near the exit, so I actually don't know if we ran out of anything. Also, I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick because I'm like talking and my nose is a bit congested.
That's because you were outside in the cold. You're an overworked person.
I need a good nappy nap. That's what I need.
I was gonna say you have to go to work again today though, so.
I do. I work in 4 hours.
Oh man, that is rough.
It'll be okay. Man, it was a rough week. Like, school was closed half the week. Work was packed half the week.
School's closed because of the snow?
Yes.
Like, how much snow have you gotten? Is it a snowpocalypse?
I'm not sure exactly. I'm not the best at measuring snow, so I'm just gonna use Google. Let's see. Google says a winter storm warning, blah, blah, blah. Additional snowfall of up to 1 to 3 inches expected through the midday. Last night, it said there were supposed to be like 8 inches.
8 inches?
That's what it said last night, yeah.
I think that's a lot of snow. I don't know. Once again, I live in Phoenix. I don't know what I don't know what a decent amount of snow is. 8 inches sounds like not very much to me, because that's like, I don't know, only up to below my knee, I guess. It's less than a foot.
Yeah, but imagine stepping in snow and it goes up to below your knee. Isn't that kind of a lot?
I guess. I don't know. I feel like I see these videos on Reddit on like the weather gifs subreddit. Have you ever been on that one?
No.
It's just like high quality gifs of weather things, and I feel like I see these videos of snow just piling up, and it like entirely covers a patio table, you know, and it's like this patio table is underneath the snow and it was up to someone's hip. Or like they open the door and like the door entryway is completely filled with snow. That's what I'm imagining when you say snowpocalypse.
I've seen those. No, that's like, isn't that what the Northeast is like right now? The East Coast?
Yeah, like Maine and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're being hit pretty hard. Oh, I did want to note though, I'm not like a believer in like fate and stuff too much, but
okay.
I do have to say how lucky it is I got into that car crash and totaled my car, and I had to get a new car because I don't think my 91 Honda Accord would handle very well in this snowpocalypse. It ended up being pretty good fate. So I assume Samuel here is a genius and actually researched what he was going to research about RSS feeds.
That is a very bold assumption. Yeah, so there's 2 different ways we can kind of go about doing it. There's the easy way and there's the harder way. That the harder way is gonna have to wait just a smidge. I'm interested in doing it, but not quite yet. Mm-hmm. So the easy way is there's a thing called castbox.fm. Mm-hmm. I actually added a link there if you want to click on it.
All right. Hold on. Why is it copyright DAW wave instead of dash wave?
Wait, where? I don't know. Oh, that's just, where does it say? Oh yeah, I just spelled it wrong. No, don't actually look at it. This is literally something I just typed up like when I was waiting for you to join earlier, so I'm just bad.
Oh, like 2 seconds ago then, pretty much.
Yeah, literally probably about 20
Okay.
minutes ago I made this.
Okay.
So you can upload the podcast episodes to here, and people can subscribe using this service. It's free to use. It has unlimited storage and unlimited uploads, and you own the content you are uploading, which is a big one. Like LibSync, I think, is the other big one, and their whole thing is that they own the content that you're uploading, not you. So you can download the Castbox app on Google Play or the App Store, or it actually also generates an RSS feed for what you're uploading. So then you could go and actually move that elsewhere and upload it to anywhere else that you want to, like iTunes and Google Play Music and Spotify.
So this is the easy way, you're saying?
This is the easy way. It literally is as simple as just clicking the upload button and uploading to the channel. So, brain dead simple.
And what's the downside of why you don't want to use the easy way?
It's just less cool.
Oh, okay. So what's the hard way that's more cool?
The hard way would be using an Amazon S3 bucket to store all of the media, and then setting up an RSS feed to listen to the S3 bucket, and we'd basically just be self-hosting it. So the benefit to that is you'd get much better latency. Okay, so I will say the downside to Castbox is, in theory, right, if there's a lot of traffic on Castbox, then there's going to be much higher latency and it's not going to load as well. So you might get some buffering issues, potentially. I mean, I doubt it, but it's definitely a possibility. Whereas if we were using something like Amazon S3 buckets, where our content is the only content on that server that's being downloaded, you'd get much better coverage of the media being streamed. So in theory, it'd be faster. And it'd be kind of cool to say, like, oh yeah, we're like a self-hosted podcast.
Can we do both?
Yeah, I think we can. I haven't looked too much into it. So for now, I'm just going to do the Castbox because it's super easy. And I legitimately don't have the time nor money to invest into setting up an S3 bucket right now. But I will keep that on the back burner as something that might be cool to do.
All right. Moy linked this website called Anchor. Did you see anything about that?
I didn't see Anchor. I will look into this more too. I haven't actually committed to anything yet. So by all means, we can do whatever we want to do.
This looks like a website where you can create a podcast instead of just upload one. It has editing tools and recording tools and stuff as well.
Huh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anchor.fm. Thanks, Moy. You're the best. Look at Moy doing better research than myself in the 30 seconds that he was here.
Well, he says his uncle uses it. Dude, if your uncle has a podcast, you gotta link me to that shit. Oh, it's on Spotify? It's about health. Okay. I have to sub to his uncle's podcast now.
Yeah, I'll give it a listen for sure. I'm looking for podcasts to listen to. Although I don't have very much time to listen to them. I only have 45 minutes in the morning, and I have yet to find a convenient podcast that's only about 45 minutes. Everyone is either 2 hours or 20 minutes, and it's very frustrating.
Well, you can't just listen to half a podcast.
That's the most frustrating thing. You get halfway in, and they're talking about something really interesting, and then you're sitting in the work parking lot, and you're just what am I doing? I'm going to be listening to this until I go into work. Or you have to stop in the middle, and then all you're thinking about all day long is that the last half of that conversation that you missed. And of course, when you finally listen to it, it's nowhere near as good as you thought it would be.
No, I don't suffer from that at all. I could stop the podcast halfway through a word and then come back perfectly fine.
No, I could not do that. It is 100% really jarring for me to try and do that.
I also listen to my podcast at 1.5 speed.
I listen at 1.25. I tried 1.5, but the problem is that my app can only do 1.25 or 1.5 for all podcasts. It's a global setting.
I see. Wow, we burned through that follow-up pretty fast. I feel like last night I had this huge story I wanted to tell, and then...
you kind of hyped me up for it. You're like, bro, I got the best story.
Bro, after I went to sleep and woke up, I feel like I missed a lot of details. Probably because I was super in the moment, so I had so many things I wanted to say, and then it just all flushed down the mental drains. Oh well.
All right. Well, let's go and just hop right into the next thing because I feel like there's a lot to talk about with the next stuff. So
There is.
I'm not too worried about it.
So this is officially episode 1 now.
Yes, this is actually episode 1. And episode 0 is like, it's like the non-canonical. It's like all of those Star Wars books that were like technically canon but not actually canon anymore. That's what episode 0 is.
You're only saying that because your mic sounded like shit, so you're embarrassed about it.
Bro, I had trouble listening to the podcast with how frustrated I was with how bad my mic sounded. Like, you have no idea. I legitimately had to, like, I stopped listening and had to listen to it at home because my car audio, I have terrible, terrible speakers in my car. And my car audio just made it even worse. And it sounded just awful. So I had to stop listening while I was in my car, and I listened to the rest of it when I got home because I couldn't listen to it on my car audio.
Nice. You know what I realized? We're not gonna have too much follow-up because we can like respond to people live as they give comments. I guess if anybody makes comments after we air, then we can follow up.
Yeah, I think that's kind of going to be an interesting thing is because we have the live like chat. We just have to be good about making sure we read what the chat is actually saying. Because it happened once on episode 0 where I think you responded to Gatsia without actually saying what he had said. So it just sounds like out of nowhere, you're like, oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like, what? About what? So we just got to be good about that.
Mm-hmm. That's just because I'm dumb. Is force people to use Twitch chat if they're talking about what we're saying right now. And then Podcast Club if it's anything else. Man, I think I am getting sick. No bueno.
Oh, that would be good. And can you do one of those things? There's a lot of those like Twitch streamers that put their Twitch chat in the bottom right hand corner of the video. Could you do that on the YouTube video?
I can figure that out. You know what? Let's drop that up into the follow-up category.
Because wouldn't that be cool, right? You're listening to the podcast and you can actually see what the live Twitch chat is saying at the same time.
That would be cool. We'll figure that out. Because that is a good idea. Man, I was trying to segue into our first point and then we kind of got distracted. Let me just restart as if nothing happened, okay? This is officially episode 1, okay? And what do you do on episode 1 is you talk about origins. So, let's start at the very beginning, Samuel.
Okay. The very, very beginning.
Of all life and creation, yes. And that starts with the question, what is the Anime IRL subreddit?
The subreddit? All right. Yeah, let's start. That's an interesting story. So, the Anime IRL subreddit was created based off of a post on the Me IRL subreddit. Way back when, where there was a relatable anime image that was posted. And one of the top comments in the comment section of that was, hey, this is kind of like anime IRL. And someone was an enterprising individual and decided to make that subreddit. I don't know too much of the actual, like, early time of the Anime IRL subreddit, because when that happened, I wasn't necessarily watching anime, so I wasn't too interested in it. I'm sure that we could have one of the, like, someone that's been on the subreddit longer than I go in more detail about that. But, yeah, so that's kind of, it had grown fairly quickly. It was the original kind of anime-oriented content that wasn't supposed to be serious on Reddit, that I remember at least. You always had, r/anime, but that was kind of oriented more towards discussion and critiquing and kind of like more of a serious forum type discussion. And from what I remember, Anime IRL was one of the original like funnies, where it's not just, oh, let's talk about the episode. It's like, oh, let's just post an out of context screenshot that's kind of funny. Or let's post, someone being depressed in anime because that's relatable. So on and so forth. So that's where the subreddit came from.
Yeah, they're at about, it looks like 350,000 subs now, almost. About 500 away. And at 30,000 subs, I think that was the number, they made an announcement post that they created a Steam group for all their subs. I think that was 30,000 posts. But that was like 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago. And I joined that Steam group on that day because I was just getting into anime and actually posted a few times on Anime IRL. None of my posts were successful because that's just how I am.
That's okay. No one's are except for the people who's are. So
No one's are except for the people's whose are, yes. But everyone joined the Steam group chat, and I was like, guys, Steam group chat is fucking awful. And just a couple months prior to that, I started up Discord because my friends were sick of Skype. So I was like, here, I'm just gonna make a test Discord server, and the mods can look at it and be like, wow, Discord's pretty cool. Let's make a Discord server. And that was the entire plan. And so everyone from the Steam group chat joined the Discord server and just shitposted for 4 months straight. I don't think there was a break in shitposting. And the mods never actually made their own server. They're like, we're just gonna keep this one. You can just hold on to it.
And so it just transitioned into the official server after they just, oh, we're just not going to do that. So you could just keep on doing you.
After a lot of unnecessary drama and whatever else happens, now we're here almost 3 years later.
Now, is there any backstory, because conspicuously the server was created on Valentine's Day. So what motivated you on this specific day to make the server, or to open the server, I guess is maybe a better term?
No, everything happened in one day. They made the 30,000 posts like on Valentine's.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I joined the Steam group on Valentine's and then made the server on Valentine's and then advertised it on Valentine's. Everything happened in one day. And then by the next day, it was like, I had about like 50 users or so. I don't remember.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought that the Steam group had been around for longer than the Discord, in terms of like a lot longer. Because that's interesting. Because I had always kind of, in my mind, the timeline had been like subreddit, Steam group for like 6 months, then Discord.
The Steam group may have been created a lot earlier, but I don't think they actually advertised it, and a lot of people joined until Valentine's. Maybe that's what happened.
And then they advertised the Steam group, and then you made the server. That's very interesting. It's definitely, it's funny that it's like in this, because that's how I found the server, years later, a year later, I was on the Anime IRL subreddit and was just looking for places to join, and found the Steam group in the sidebar, joined the Steam group, and I think one of your posts was like a pinned post, or whatever the mechanic is on Steam, that said, fuck Steam chat, let's all go to Discord. And so then I just immediately clicked the Discord link and spent zero time whatsoever in the Steam group. I went straight from the subreddit to the Steam group to the Discord server. And that was like how I had done that, which is interesting because I was actually looking for a Discord server for the Anime IRL subreddit, because I had made a bot that I wanted to put on the subreddit server. So that was my original motivation for joining, was to shill my bot.
Oh, Samuel just dropped out of call. I guess we'll sit here for a minute. I think he just like had his internet cut out. You know what? Let's see. This is a good opportunity to test something.
Hello.
Hi, Nicholas. So, from Samuel's ashes, you rise.
I rise. I do not think that I am going to be able to. Fuck. It's already started.
To what?
Articulate myself as well as Samuel does.
Well, you know what, dude? It's the magic of post-editing.
Absolutely. I realized, especially very recently, with the headphones I wear, I can't really hear myself talk, so I pause a lot because it kind of throws me off.
I do that too sometimes.
It bugs the fuck out of me, but I still do it, so I guess it doesn't bother me that much.
I remember when I first got headphones that block sound, it was really weird to start talking into mic, because I used to only use open ear headphones and I can hear myself perfectly.
Right. Before these, I had, God, what were they? Whatever Sennheiser gaming headset, because I was a naive young person. And they had a little bit of feedback, so whenever you spoke into the microphone, it played into the headphones. So I never had that problem.
That sounds a little weird.
Hello?
Oh, welcome back, Samuel.
It was me that left. Weird. I thought it was you.
No, it was definitely you. You actually just went offline on Discord for a minute.
Weird. I was having a great conversation with myself for a while. When did I cut out?
Yeah, you got I like mid-sentence or something. I don't even remember what I said in response.
You said about the pinned post function or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's a while ago. Man, I was talking for a long time. Anyways, I found the Discord after that. And I joined to shill my bot. That was basically the sum of what I was telling.
That's interesting because the first thing I remember about you, Dash, is you went into Meta and said, "Hey, I've got this bot that can do this thing." And Remington then said in mod chat, "Oh, this guy's just gonna be one of those fucking people." Or maybe he said it out loud. I don't remember.
I do remember that my first impression of you was that all you were here for was to shill your bot, and I was like, God, I'm just gonna ban this guy later.
I just played the long con. I'm just smarter than most of the people that joined to shill their bot. So when I was turned down, I was like, okay, I gotta pivot. Let's go long term and just generate a need. And once that need has been generated, I'll fulfill that need.
If I'm gonna be completely honest, even when with the spoiler bot, I thought that was really dumb. I was like, this is really stupid. I can't believe anybody would want this function. And it actually is pretty cool. I'm sorry for doubting you.
Yeah, that's all right. I actually have a bot now that is literally just Nano's spoiler feature. Just took everything that isn't generalized out of it and made a bot that just does that.
Is it actually used? It's just like a separate bot people can invite?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the stats on it because I don't track stats on that bot. So it's in a server. I get an angry message from Fave every time that my internet goes down because the bot doesn't restart. So for instance, right now after my internet just went down, I'm sure the bot's not started. So I'm gonna get a message from Fave later on today.
How often does your internet go down?
I don't know. I would say it goes down maybe once a week, probably.
That is awful, dude.
For like a very short period of time. And honestly, it might be my fault. I think I might be running a VPN. Like I might be running all of my network through a VPN right now. And I think that the VPN server just gets shuffled around once a week. And so that's probably what just happened.
Wait, you might be using a VPN all the time, or you are using a VPN all the time?
I don't know. It's a setting on my router, and I always forget which one I leave it. Like I leave it on. Like I turn it on to do things that I don't want, to get in trouble for. And so then I turn it off later on. And sometimes I just forget to turn it off.
So your router has a built-in VPN function?
Yeah, so I run a software called Merlin on my router. It's a separate firmware for my Asus router. It's basically just a better open source version of the main Asus router firmware. And one of the things that it has inside of it is a built-in VPN client. So you can actually set a VPN info into the VPN client and run it at a router level, and all of the internet that goes through the router goes through the VPN.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So I use that for whenever I download things that people send angry messages about.
Is that the Asus Merlin firmware?
Yep, Asus Merlin. That's what I use.
I'm surprised. I recently found the whatever the free and open source one is, the firmware for routers, and I thought that's for sure what you would be using.
DDWRT or Tomato, because there's three. So there's DDWRT, there's Tomato, and then there's Merlin. The big one, the reason I use Merlin is because I have an Asus router. So if I use Merlin, I actually still get some of the Asus functionality, because apparently Asus works with this guy who does this open source one, and they give him patches to his open source version so that the Asus specific functionality of the routers is preserved. So I can still use a lot of the Asus stuff. I was using DDWRT when I had a Linksys router because the Linksys firmware is just terrible. But yeah, so that's that. I'm kind of bummed. I had like this whole story I was telling, and it just got disappeared into the ether. I was just like going into details about how meaningful it was here at the server, and
Wow, that's really sweet of you.
yeah. So now you're not getting that. This server sucks dick, bro. Like, oh, you're gonna hear it. Oh my god, I'm actually recording locally. I might cut that out before I send it to you because it's probably embarrassing. Because I was all like, oh, like Rex is gone. I'll just talk to Twitch chat, and no one was responding. Because my internet was out, so I'm just sitting there like, oh, this sucks. Like all alone.
That's funny.
So Kurt was asking in the podcast channel, is the channel going to be purely for the Discord podcast, or can we talk about other ones in downtime?
I think the latter would be fine. Because that just means more traffic. Actually, that's a good place.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like conversation about individual podcasts. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not it'll be interesting to see whether or not people listen to the same podcasts. You know, because there's like the popular podcasts, but I feel like there's a lot of really popular podcasts about a variety of subjects. And so I would be interested to see how much overlap there really is on the server between what podcasts people listen to.
If you look at it, there's really no place to talk about podcasts either until now.
No, it'd be Nerd, I guess, would be the closest thing, but Nerd's honestly not really meant for that.
Yeah, there's things that fall into like Nerd or IRL that don't really have a proper spot, but I guess now podcasts do.
See, but that's the beauty of having our channel set up that way, is they can go in Nerd or IRL. It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Yeah, but people are too dumb to understand that, Nick. They need to be told. They need to be told. Where do I put this? You put it here. Okay, thanks. That's 80% of the user.
Here's a great idea, Samuel. Is you make a bot function where they just DM what they want to talk about, and the bot will just link the channel they should use.
I'll just have the bot post for them.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's a great idea, too.
Oh my god, okay. So there's actually a really cool functionality that I was playing around with earlier that exploits the webhooks in Discord. So the way the webhooks work is that you can send a post to a webhook, and that webhook will post whatever you sent to it in the channel. Well, one of the interesting things is you can actually say to the webhook, like you can edit in the webhook what the username and profile picture is for the webhook down to the individual message. So once the webhook posts the message, that username and avatar are stuck with that message forever. Okay, so there's this other chat client it's a chat protocol called Matrix. And what Matrix is it's basically like a modern distributed IRC. So it's just like for like text chat and so on and so forth. So I had set up a kind of pseudo community that's like a sister community to Anime IRL that doesn't exist yet. But I had kind of been playing around with the idea of like, oh, like, you know, if Discord ever hits the shitter and gets banned because of, you know, furry porn, we can just move somewhere else. And one of the things that I found was a way to create a bridge between the Matrix chat and the Discord chat. When someone posts in the Matrix chat, it sends their username on Matrix and their avatar on Matrix to the webhook, changes the webhook to that username and avatar, and then posts what their message was in the Matrix channel in the Discord channel. So it looks like that person's talking in the Discord channel as well. And it's really cool. And it like works actually pretty well.
So you can just use Matrix and Discord at the same time?
Yeah, like I set up to a channel on one of my test servers, and any message that gets sent in that channel gets sent into my Matrix channel. And any message I send in Matrix gets sent over to Discord.
In Discord's Matrix channel?
No, in Discord. It sends it to the Discord channel.
So are you saying you have links between each channel?
Yeah. So each channel would have its own relevant Matrix channel, and you could talk in between the two of them.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Because I know some people have done like IRC links and stuff.
Yeah, it's basically the exact same thing as an IRC link. But the problem is with the IRC is that it's linked with the entire server. So it's just the entire server in one channel.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
Whereas the Matrix would be you could actually link it between channels.
I've actually never seen anything about this Matrix.
Really? It's a really interesting project. Basically, they were saying that the IRC format was really, really strong, but it falls in certain places when it comes to like distributedness and the ability to have channels. And I mean, even like you can't embed pictures, right? So there's this need for a modern IRC-like client. And so what they did is they came up with this protocol and they said, listen, this protocol is what you need to implement and anyone can build their interface to it. So like the big one is Riot. Riot.im, I think is what it's called, is the main chat app that you use with Matrix, but you can use any chat app with Matrix. So you could go and create your own right now, and it would still be able to communicate with all of the channels that Riot has as well. And you can host your own like mother server where people can sign up on your server, and people that are signed up on your server can also communicate with the Matrix servers, like the official Synapse ones.
So this is I really really like that idea, Dash. But the only problem is you now have to implement Experience for the bot.
There's a certain things that there's a lot of things to consider, and I don't really want to set it up quite yet because it's not necessary. Basically, what I was just imagining it would have to be is essentially only the main 5 channels, and there'd be no concept of EXP or pruning. But the idea being that only big brains can use Matrix, so we don't have to worry about small brains being there.
I know that's a lie though, because I literally just installed Riot.
Oh, I know. Riot makes it so easy now. It used to be this cool, like, programming, like tech bubble where only people who knew how to program would be there. The problem is, okay, I'll be honest with you. The problem that I have with it is that there's so many furries on it. I don't know what it is about, like, programming in federated systems and furries, but those 3 things just always go together so much. It's insane. I don't know why that is the case, but if you go to, like, have you ever heard of Mastodon?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you go to Mastodon is 80% like furries and LGBTQ community. Like that's like the majority of who is on Mastodon. And it's interesting because Mastodon was created as like this programming tech version of what Twitter should have been. And for some reason, that just attracts. I don't even know if attracts is the right word, but the communities are very, very, I guess, linked. I don't know. It's interesting because they both have a ton of furries. It's really funny. I'm not even saying there's anything bad with furries, right? It's just very interesting that like these communities overlap in such a direct way. It's very interesting. Because I don't think that there is a real linkage between it, as far as I can imagine.
I think we had, I believe it was Sean who introduced me to Mastodon, and he described it as kind of an escape from everyone who's not in that community. So everyone, or I guess not everyone, but people started to let it get around, like, oh, hey, we've got this service where it's literally just us. There's nobody else here.
Oh, so it's actually the reverse of what I was saying. It was intended almost as like a safe space.
But especially the way Mastodon is set up, where you can set up, I don't remember what they're called, but like everybody has their different.
Yeah, it's a federated system, so it's a federated server.
Right, yeah. So you can have mastodon.gay, and it's, everybody who joins that knows what it's going to be.
That's interesting. Moy brought up in the Twitch chat, like, if Discord would shit the bed, what platforms would be a good alternative?
That's what I was going to bring up.
And that's basically where I think that, like, Matrix, in my mind, Matrix is probably the big one. Slack, we definitely couldn't do, because Slack requires paid membership to store messages. And with how frequently we message, we would only have probably about the last 30 minutes worth of messages kept in the server, because it's, well, maybe a little more than that. So it's the last 40,000 messages are the only messages you can see on a free plan. So that's obviously not an option. I don't know. Steam chat is terrible, so that can't happen.
Steam chat is terrible, even after the big rewrite they made.
It's so bad.
It has expiring messages, doesn't it?
On Steam chat, they might too.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Oh, they do? Okay. So, yeah, that's even frustrating too. So, obviously, Steam chat isn't the way to go.
Right. So, are you seeing this Discord goes down end case as all of Discord or just our particular server?
It'd have to be all of Discord.
Yeah, we just make another server, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that.
I mean, yeah, if Discord in its entirety is gone, then we just go with wherever everybody else moves, right?
Essentially, yeah. And that's 100% true.
Well, I don't think Discord will be going down, so
I don't think so either.
not sure if we have to worry about it too much.
Not anytime soon, at least.
I never really used any other chat app. I never used IRC. All I used was Skype, and
I used IRC for a while.
I actually used Steam Chat and Steam Voice for a long time because I only ever talked to like one friend. I think there was a big post on Discord app subreddit a while ago of somebody who wanted nested voice channels.
I mean, like even like the spoiler edition is really interesting. So
Interesting as in a good choice, or interesting as
interesting as in it's obvious that they are still inputting value into the app rather than just coasting on the curtails of its past successes. I think they could have done the spoiler function better. I honestly just wish they had done exactly what Reddit does with spoiler. I have never seen a spoiler function better created than Reddit's.
Reddit has a global spoiler function?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wasn't that kind of a recent addition?
Yeah. But I mean, everyone. So there was. It's one of those interesting things about Reddit having custom CSS is that there was no global spoiler, but on just about every major subreddit, they all had the chunk of CSS text that made the spoiler function work. And so everyone just copy and pasted that into their subreddit CSS so that the same one worked everywhere. And now then the Reddit admins use that as the main one. So that's what it is now.
I always disable the Reddit CSS on every single subreddit.
Really?
Yep.
I like them.
Really?
It's like an extension of the community. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just too into like consistency. I just want to browse everything the same way.
That's fair.
So do you like the new Reddit update then?
No, it's because I like consistency too much that I don't want to change. So I still use old Reddit.
Oh, I see.
And I don't know how well the new Reddit works with res. So I haven't tested it at all.
I don't think this has to do with the site redesign, but the biggest thing I am not a fan of is they broke linking videos, even within Reddit. Like exposting a video to another subreddit breaks.
The v.reddit cancer that has become the norm for posting videos on Reddit is just about my most frustrating thing. Like the fact that you cannot link the video itself, you have to link to the Reddit website is so frustrating. It's such a bad design. They purposely have disabled the ability to link to just the video so that you always end up going to reddit.com and adding traffic to their website.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, except when I'm already on reddit.com and I can't view this video because somebody posted it to a different subreddit.
Yeah, and that's just poor design on their part. That's just them being bad. If I could change one thing about Reddit, it would be that. Or does making v.reddit link to the video itself? I don't even mind CDN hosting.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's on the same page that v.reddit is absolute garbage.
Yeah, but they're not going to change because it makes them money. That's the thing. I like most of the redesign choices. I think the only thing that frustrates me is the lack of custom CSS. I think that was like kind of an endearing part of Reddit. I think what they should have done is they should have baked in a lot of the RES features where they have, say, real custom CSS, but it's baked into the site itself that you can disable CSS.
Right. Well, it is.
No,
I don't think you
it's
can
not.
do it globally. Well,
It's RES. RES lets you do that, not Reddit.
hold on. Reddit.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's RES that does.
You can't disable CSS just like by Reddit on itself?
No, I
Wow.
don't think so.
Well, I've used RES ever since I started using Reddit, so I actually don't know what the difference is between the two. I don't know what RES adds or not. Because I started using Reddit because I used to browse Imgur and I didn't actually like, or Imager. I don't know how.
Oh my god, you're an Imgurian?
Yeah, so but that was only for like a few months, honestly. And my friend was like,
That's
just browse
hilarious.
Reddit, and I was like, I didn't really like how you would view posts until I downloaded RES and I can just inline everything. And I was like, man, this is so much nicer.
Damn. You're right. It is res. It's not a.
I
was
know.
almost positive that it was just a default thing. That would be why I don't turn any of them off. So I don't have that option. But I feel
Yeah.
I have had that option in the past because I know I turned one of them off because it was awful and I like literally broke the subreddit.
Like, Nick, I can promise you that it is 100% an RES feature. It has never been on the main Reddit.
I just had res at some point, and I don't remember, and I never got it
Yeah.
back after I lost it at some point.
Yeah. Gosh, Nick being in here is going to throw a wrench in our recording plan, Rex.
Oh
okay.
yeah, I'm not recording my audio.
That's fine. I'll figure it out.
I guess you can just use the Twitch audio for the parts where you don't have his audio.
I could start recording my audio right now. Also,
Nah.
Samuel, like
No.
90% of this is just you talking, so.
Yeah. I do talk a lot. I apologize.
I love listening to Samuel, so it's okay. He can
Oh,
talk
thanks.
so much that he just talked on his own for 5 minutes when his internet was.
I legitimately talked to myself for 5 minutes, yeah. So that is 100%. I'm actually not going to cut it out. You can do what you will with it. Just don't embarrass me too much. Because I legitimately was like, oh man, Rex is gone. What an idiot. He's not talking. I'll just keep talking to the Twitch chat by myself, and nobody's here because my internet's off.
The two of you are always online late at night. Like, as soon as I go to bed, you both get online. It's upsetting.
Yeah, it's the working man's struggle. Although I've been online during work. Like I'll like pop on every once in a while if I'm like, I just finished debugging a project. I can just like pop in and be like, oh okay.
See, but here's the thing: is we have the same time zone, so we're at work at the same time.
I don't know. You're just a pussy and go to sleep too early.
That's true.
What's your bedtime, Nick?
I've been trying to move it up to 9 p.m. so I can wake up earlier because I am way more productive before work than after work.
Mm-hmm.
9:30. You're like an old man. Nick.
I know, dude. Oh God, I turned 23. My back started hurting. I went to bed at 9:30. God.
Look, real talk though. I'm 23 as well, and this last winter I legitimately threw out my back.
Oh wow, doing what?
Standing up. Literally, I swear to you, I was crouched and I stood up, and halfway to standing up, I just fell back to the ground, unable to like move. And then I was bedridden, literally bedridden for like 2 days because I couldn't move at all. And I had lingering back pain for the next month. It was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, I'm literally 90.
This is an awful story, but I can't stop laughing. It's hilarious.
Like, it's so frustrating. And I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like cracking jokes like, oh, you're 90. And of course, Victoria's doing the same thing. Like, oh, I didn't know I signed up for, being in a relationship with someone that's gonna die soon. God. Like, I'm sorry.
That's why they tell you to not bend your back when you lift.
But I wasn't lifting anything, Nick. I literally just stood up with nothing in my hands and like fell to the ground.
All right, boys. Thanks for coming in so spontaneously, Nick, because
Oh,
Samuel's
absolutely.
internet crashed.
Yeah.
Glad to help. Glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. I don't appreciate you not recording your own audio. You're supposed to come prepared.
Yeah, seriously.
I did think about that as soon as Samuel got back. Like, oh, I should probably start recording, and then I didn't do that.
Oh, well. I gotta get ready
Alright.
for work. Goodbye,
Sounds
gentlemen.
good. An hour and 33 minutes. Here it is.
Man, it just keeps getting longer.
Yeah, you got to set something up like this is it, and then you say that thing, and then it's over, and there's nothing else.
Okay, this is it.
I just subscribed to you on Twitch.
You did?
I did.
Thanks for the sub, Dash Wab. You part of the Rex gang. Mealy up, my dude. That's me high-fiving myself.
Are you still here, Rex? Because I can't hear you if you are.